Well, we welcome you to another busy Saturday of ACC basketball. We get you started here in Raleigh, PNC Arena. It's the second meeting of the regular season, but the first in almost 3 months between Boston College and NC State. Wes Durham with Josh Pastor. We welcome you to Raleigh. Delighted to have you here with us as we start another great Saturday of ACC basketball. And, Coach, reality is DJ Horne might be one of the best players in the league here as of late.
A true honor and privilege to be working alongside you, the legend, Wes Durham. So I want to make sure you let you know that. And you're right, DJ Horne has been on fire, as playing as well as anybody in the United States of America in college basketball. This guy is scoring all over the floor, from the three-point line, backdoor cuts, downhill drives, turning the corner. He's been really, really hard to stop, and is what North Carolina State has needed.
Meanwhile, Boston College counters with maybe one of the most efficient and impactful players in the country.
Outstanding big man in Quentin Post. He can score inside, can make threes, really good at pick and pop, and he's big. He can play great defense. He's hard to score on when he's down there into the paint area. High-level basketball player.
So the Eagles are here. They've lost 3 of their last 5. Earl Grant in year 3 at Chestnut Hill off an 8-point loss at Florida State. NC State saw Syracuse, in particular Chris Bell, go crazy here the other night. They lost by 4 at home to the Orange. And this is the first meeting in almost 3 months. They open conference play against one another in early December. And you see Post turned away by Diarra on the first possession.
Wes, we talked to Coach Keats earlier today, and we talked about the matchup with Post, and he liked Diarra on Post more so than Burns defensively.
Look at Burns on the scoop, and it rolls in for DJ Burns. An important note early for NC State against what they're doing offensively.
Well, with Burns, is such a unique player, the way he plays. He doesn't look the part, but he's such an effective and efficient player. He can spin. You get body to body on him like they did there. Got to the rim, found a way to score. He's a really unique player in this league.
Zachary whips a pass toward Post. He lost a handle on it. It'll belong to the Wolfpack. You'll notice NC State is wearing jerseys today that harken back, 50 years to the 1974 National Championship team. That tremendous group of players and team will be honored here at halftime. 50 years ago, the Wolfpack won the national title. There's Burns. It's 4-0.
And I'm telling you, Wes, this young man is a really good basketball player. He was outstanding all last year, but a little more up and down this year. But he's a hard matchup. He can pass, highly skilled. He's a really good basketball player. Again, things that he does is just hard to prepare for, and he's first 2 baskets. That's what's happened here against BC.
McLaughlin, terrific young player, sophomore redshirt. Boston College's big issue here early is they've only gotten 1 chance at a shot.
Yeah, well, that's not good, because you don't want NC State to get on those momentum runs, especially at home with this crowd, with the 74 national championship team here. They've got to find ways to score the ball. Hasn't been good in these first few possessions.
Yeah, there's already enough electricity with that. You add to it with good play early, and all of a sudden BC might be in a world of trouble. Here's O'Connell starting for the 7th straight ball game for Coach Keats. Transfer from Stanford, that had no chance. McLaughlin blocks it away. And here are the Eagles turning away the Wolfpack for the first time.
And in transition offense, you'll see right here double drags. Matson turned it down, but they will get in single drags, double drags, meaning there's 2 players there, or if there's a single drag, 1 player, but all the time Post will be involved in those screening actions with the pick and pops.
Baseline, inbounds for Post, and O'Connell reached in, slapped it out of the hands of the big fella.
Post, his energy's got to get going right now. First play that Coach Grant had, a great backdoor cut. They glocked him through it to Post. Got a block. Right there is kind of bobbling with his hands. He's got to get his energy. For BC to win this game, they need Post to be at a high level.
Change for the Wolfpack. Ben Middlebrooks comes into the ball game. Burns gets a quick break for Kevin Keats. And a 4-0 Wolfpack lead. This is Claudell Harris Jr., terrific scorer who transferred from Charleston Southern. Working against Morcell. Front rim miss. Here's Horne, and the Wolfpack trying to flip the floor. DJ spots up and hits.
Wes, really good defense there by Morcell. I thought it was a really good defense. And then you look at the transition, which NC State's as good as anybody in this league on playing in transition offense. Great pull up there by Horn. Continues his momentum from where he's been playing the last few games.
Mark Schnurr calls a foul on Quentin Post, I believe. And if so, that'll be the first on Post as you get a look at Kevin Keats. 129 wins in his NC State career. And now better than 200 in a career that spans right at a decade. And now an offensive foul called at the other end. That's on Morcell. Ted Valentine, Mark Schnurr, Justin Porterfield on the whistle here today in Raleigh.
The great thing, Wes, sitting here, I got the opportunity to criticize the referees without getting in trouble. So that's what's one of the advantages being on this side of it. But look, back-to-back offensive fouls there. North Carolina State was trying to run, they call it an Iverson action to get Horn a shot.
Here's McLaughlin turning with the right hand. Posts the rebound. BC gets a second chance. He'll try and back down DR with the right hand, and there goes Quentin Post to work.
I think the game plan for Coach Grant is we've got to keep going into Quentin Post from start to finish. He's got to get going, and that hopefully gets his energy going with that first made basket.
Here's DJ Horn trying to find some working room, and boy, BC collapsed all over him, Josh, to force the turnover.
And I tell you what, that's what they do defensively. They really pack it in the paint. They really try to guard that paint. And Zachary, who they do post up right here on the offensive end, he is a very good defender as well, tough and hard-nosed.
Ball got slapped around. DR finally cleans it up. 6-2 in favor of the Pack. Horn for three. It's way off. And Madsen clears the rebound. Mason Madsen, 5 straight double-figure games for Earl Grant's club. Averaging right at about 15 and a half a game in that stretch. Zachary tried to go to post, threw it away to Morcell. BC can't get out of its own way. 4th turnover by the Eagles.
It doesn't matter what sport it is, Wes. Those turnovers, it's hard to win games when you turn the ball over like that.
After the Morcell miss, McLaughlin, offensive foul. Morcell stepped in front, draws the first from Devin McLaughlin. It's the second on Boston College. Gets us to an early timeout in Raleigh. NC State's helped force some turnovers. They lead 4. Well, Earl Grant in season 3, Josh. BC's 15-11. They've got 6 league wins. A year ago, they went 9-11. And the slow rebuild at Chestnut Hill, I think, is going pretty well. Now, it's a long drought here, right? I mean, but it takes some time, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, Coach Grant, Earl Grant, has done an outstanding job at Boston College. He's an excellent coach, and he's building. But we're in a different time and place in this day and age where people might not give you enough time anymore. Because of the NIL and the transfer portal. This isn't anything about Earl Grant. This is just college basketball in general. I think he's an outstanding coach, has done a great job with the program, and is trending continually in the right direction, and they've got a good basketball team.
Zachary took it away from Horn, and Jaden Zachary scores. Transition bucket for the Eagles.
Wes, Zachary is such a key for BC, for Boston College. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. They'll post him up on the offensive end. He's kind of the guy that wears a hard hat on that team and the working boots and just does all the dirty work. Tough, hard-nosed player.
Armani Mighty trying to take full starts out of DJ Burns and did. Madsen helped with the double team. Here the Eagles running again. Kick it to the corner, and what do we have here? Deflected out of bounds. Turnover. So it'll go to Boston. Boston College turns it over again, and that's already now 6 of them for Coach Grant's team.
It doesn't matter if it's football, Wes, basketball, hockey, baseball, gymnastics, lacrosse. If you turn it over, you're not winning the game.
Horn. Scoring drought of almost 3 minutes here for the Wolfpack. Burns with the left hand. McLaughlin gave it a shot, and last touched by Boston College, says Ted Valentine. Justin Porterfield asked for a little help there.
And Wes, if I'm North Carolina State and Kevin Keats as sitting there and the head coach, you're frustrated because the many possessions that Boston College has given us,
right,
has given NC State. If I'm Kevin Keats, I'm thinking to myself, man, we got to have a larger lead than what we have right now.
Here's Burns fighting through, and a held ball will keep it with the Wolfpack.
they're not taking advantage of the opportunities that Boston College has given them on those free extra possessions.
Well, Kevin Keats took DJ Horn out during the break. O'Connell has returned. Jaden Taylor, by the way, the transfer from Indianapolis, on the floor. Here's Burns up strong against Armani Mighty. Third field goal for DJ Burns.
Wes, DJ Burns gets to that angle on his right shoulder, over this right shoulder. He's really hard to stop. He's all about angles. Everything in the post is about angles.
We welcome those of you who started your day with ACC Women's Lacrosse with Clemson and Duke. We're in Raleigh at PNC Arena, where 6 minutes gone, NC State off to a good start. Boston College has turned it over 6 times. And DJ Burns has got 6 of the Wolfpack 8. With Josh Pastner, Wes Durham, we welcome you to PNC Arena on a celebratory day for NC State, the 1974 National Championship team having their 50th reunion. They'll be honored here at halftime. You'll see part of it in our coverage on ACC Network. Here's DJ Burns back to work again against Mighty. Left it short. Armani Mighty, the sophomore from Toronto, picks up his first. It's the third on Boston College. Josh, one of the things we've seen here in the first almost 7 minutes of play, Boston College turning it over, NC State not able to take advantage of.
No, you look there, and again, great to be with you, Wes, and for the fans here, what a legend and honor to be next to Wes Durham here. But you're right, BC's got 6 turnovers. North Carolina State, they're only up 4. They should be up way more right now. The issue is North Carolina State's got 4 turnovers themselves. Points in the paint, they've really tried to establish Burns attacking, getting over that right shoulder with Burns in those angles. You can see the points in the paint right there. See how the game continues to go. Post has been in and out a little bit just with his play. He's stepping back in, so see how that goes with his size there in the front court, because Kevin Keats and NC State are trying to establish Burns in the paint.
A couple of substitutions. You mentioned Post. Donald Hand Jr. onto the floor. He wears 13 for the Eagles, and so's Chaz Kelly III. He's 0-0 to join Harris. Meanwhile, Breon Pass is checked in for the Wolfpack. His playing time has gone up here recently. He joins Horn, Middlebrooks, Diarra, all on the floor here. So Burns will take a break ahead of the under-12 timeout. He'll go to Keats' bench with 8 of NC State's 10 here.
Coach Keats mentioned after the game versus Syracuse, he was frustrated, but one of the few players he was happy about was Breon Pass. So we'll see if he gets he can play like he did against Syracuse in this game.
Pass played 10 minutes the other night against Syracuse. Here's an entry pass for Quentin Post. He's fouled from behind by Middlebrooks. First on Ben Middlebrooks, the Clemson transfer. Second on the Wolfpack. So a new possession, new shot clock, 20 seconds for Boston College.
A lot of the base out of bounds that Boston College runs are designed to get the ball into post.
There's a 3 from Harris, and Diarra, who's a terrific rebounder, pulls it away. Horns, who has been unbelievable here as of late. 6 games of 24 or more for the Wolfpack. Pass, a step back 3. Too strong. Diarra kept it alive. Post will run it down.
You can see in transition here, Boston College will continue to run a lot of drag screens or play through post. Quentin Post at the high post, almost like 5 out, and have him be the initiator because of his ability to pass.
McLaughlin looking for Post. Middlebrooks right there. Here's Post, little soft fall away. Left it short. Horn on the drive against Harris. He'll leave it for Diarra's 3. Nope. And the rebound is Hand. Second generation ACC player, Donald Hand Jr. Lost it in transition. That'll get us to the under 12 timeout. So Boston College, after a tough start, is 4 of their first 11, or 2 of their first 10. NC State protecting a 6-point lead. We welcome you back to ACC Network Basketball. We're in Raleigh, presented by Food Lion. Second meeting of the year between NC State and Boston College. Great to be with Josh Pastner here this afternoon. And the old coach, you hadn't been gone that long. You know how I know? because these two teams are 0 for 5 from 3, and they have 11 turnovers, and it's driving you crazy.
And no assist. There's been not one assist yet. So we got to stop turning the ball over here for both teams, and that's been an issue right now, and I know both coaches feel the same way about that.
There's Jaden Taylor on a hard drive. Burns tried to keep it alive and did, but it's a league bay that comes up with it, and he fires a lead pass, and Madsen scores. How about that turn of events for Boston College in 94 feet?
Wes Madsen, since he's been inserted in the starting lineup over these last 4 games, has been at an extremely high level for Boston College. He's obviously an elite shooter, but he's doing other things as well, too.
Sure is. Here is Taylor for 3. First 3 of the ball game belongs to Jaden Taylor.
And it was the first assist of the game. Boston College went to go double Burns. Burns was able to make a direct pass on a strike. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Great play there by Burns on being able to find the open guy off that double.
Josh, he averages 2.5 assists a game. One of the things I keep hearing in our travel around the league is how good a passer DJ Burns is for what Kevin Keats needs.
Absolutely. And the thing that he does, he doesn't catch it directly at the block. It's more in the long post. So the scheme or the strategy is, where do you double? Do you double them? They call it double or monster, whatever you want to call the terminology. Is it at the dribble? Is it at the block? And then that's where it becomes the issues.
And now he knocks down a 15-footer.
I'm a big fan of this young man's game. I think he's really good. He's a unique player. He's a different player than anybody is like him in this league.
Yeah.
And he's a very, very hard matchup.
He's pushed the lead to its largest of 9 here in this first half. So while DJ Horn's been quiet, DJ Burns has been trouble here early for the Eagles, and Diarra the rebound of the one and done at the Eagles into the floor. Here is Taylor. Horn has but a single field goal. Here's Burns going to work. He'll kick it for Horn. There's a 3 away. Got it. The best three-point shooter in the ACC is DJ Horn, and a timeout for Earl Grant.
And you can see the gravity that what happened with going to Burn, everyone got sucked in, and they kicked it out to Horn. He got an open 3. A great another pass by Burns.
12-point lead for the Wolfpack. Just like that, the DJ is going to work in Raleigh.
Yep, you can see right here, DJ Burns, as I was talking about, one of my most favorite players in this league, but he's such a hard matchup. Here he's at the elbow, post has his hands down, sticks a jumper, and then the assist right here, the gravity that Burns has in the paint, they got sucked in, ball watching, kicks it to Horn, and finds an open 3.
Burns was so confident he started down the floor. Backdoor layup from Madsen. Earl Grant's team on the board, just their 4th basket, though. And it's back to a 10-point game.
Great out of timeout execution there by Boston College. They needed that basket to stop the run. Good call there by Earl Grant on the execution out of the timeout.
Burns and post collide. DJ Burns hit the deck. Here's Taylor for 3. That's offline. Burns has the long rebound. Left-hand stick back too strong. Scramble inside. Diarra couldn't finish at the offensive window. Kick ahead for a league bag. Sophomore from Minneapolis.
You can see right now, BC's they're trying to get the post, but Diarra's done a great job fronting post to take the ball away from on those plays.
Prince Aligbe knocks down just his 5th 3 of the year. He was 4 of 31 before that one.
If you notice, Kevin Keats told his guys to short close. Don't close out flying at him. Give him the 3. And he made it pay him off. They followed the scouting report to get it a shot.
That one's on the coach, huh?
Well, they were following the numbers. The numbers said he wasn't going to make it.
I just wanted to see how far you were from the bench. You're not that far yet. Foul on the block. I think that is Quentin Post, and that'll be his 2nd. So Post now has 2 fouls, Josh, with 8:28 to play in this first half. That is 4 on BC. You leave him?
Coach Grant's taking him out right now. I would probably like to leave him just because with the lead right there, I just think the way Burns has been,
wow,
they've struggled against.
And Quentin Post had some parting words for Ted Valentine.
You don't want to mess with Teddy Valentine.
I thought for a moment that
He
said Valentine was going to tee up Quentin Post. He did not. That would have been Post's third foul, by the way. Here's Burns, tried to skip it across. It hit Harris in the head. And here's Zachary at the other end. He missed the layup, knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Wolfpack. Claudell Harris took he took one in the noggin here on Burns' pass.
That was like a Tom Brady throw, literally in the Super Bowl with that speed that he threw it at with Burns. I mean, you can see it right here. I mean, he threw it. It got deflected on that and hit him right in the face. Burns was trying to find on the weak side slot because that's where the double came, but the deflection with the hands there caused it to get Harris to get hit right in the face with the ball. Those things sting and hurt.
Ooh, Claudell Harris comes out of the ball game. Nick Galato, the Eagle trainer, goes right to him. So Zachary, Hand, Aligbe, Madsen, and Armani Mighty, this big sophomore from Toronto, who gives it to Zachary. His shot altered by Morcell. Recovered Horn. Under 8 to go in the first half.
You can see the transition there. A drag screen to try to get Horn. An open three.
O'Connell the recovery. Here's Horn right back. Diarra tees up another one. Sure. 11th three of the year for Mohamed Diarra from France.
Hey, Wes, talk about a luxury at his size to be able to step out and make those shots. He's got a pretty form. That's a great thing to have for NC State.
Diarra 11 of 32 on the year. He is 1 for 2 today from behind the line. Good look from O'Connell, and the Wolfpack lead is 10 in Raleigh. ACC basketball is presented by Food Lion, the official grocer of the Atlantic Coast Conference. We rejoin you from Raleigh, NC State by 10 with 7.5 to go, and some of the still photos of the legendary 1974 team that'll be honored here at PNC Arena at halftime. I mean, some luminaries, Pastner. Some luminaries.
Look, you were born, I wasn't. You were alive. That being said, I'm well aware of how great that 74 team was. David Thompson was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan.
That is a fact. Michael Jordan's favorite player growing up was David Thompson. Diarra took it away from the Eagles, and here's Horn. DJ Horn has shown some flickers, but he hasn't caught fire yet here today.
But fortunately for NC State, Burns has picked up on that slack, and that hasn't been the case as much in the last few games.
Woo! There's some of what DJ Horn's been putting on the board, though.
Right as we're talking about that, he hits a tough contested two, and that's what he's done over this stretch of these games where he's hit 25 or more. It's been on just different ways of scoring, not just standstill threes. He's found ways to drive it, mid-range, threes. It's been a complete player.
Lead is 12 for the Pack. Donald Hand Jr., whose dad was a star at Virginia. Ball got deflected. Here's the turnover. Jaden Taylor trying to race to the basket through traffic, and whoa, look out. Madsen came down, and I think his foot caught the shoulder of Taylor. Oh, that could have been real tough underneath the hoop for Taylor. Instead, the foul is on Hand. It'll be his first. 5 on the Eagles. Now watch Madsen come down. Oh, top of the head. Oh, my goodness.
Taylor got his forearm there to protect his face right as that knee came down. But let me just say this. It's another turnover for Boston College on the other end, Wes. That's 9 turnovers already. 10, excuse me. That is 10 turnovers already. I'm already 1 down on that. Goodness gracious. It's just too many.
Yep.
For Boston College, and when you're playing against a team like NC State who can explode in scoring bunches, you're just gifting them with extra possessions, not giving your chance to set your defense up to really guard, which Boston College is a very good defensive team. They guard the paint, but the turnovers don't allow you to set your defense up at all.
5 points here in the first half for the Butler transfer, Jaden Taylor. He had 18 the first time these two schools played back in early December at Chestnut Hill.
You see, with Post not being in offensively, it changes the 5-out action.
Zachary 3, got it. Jaden Zachary, 5 points. for the young man who had 20 in their first meeting. He's averaging 11 against the league. O'Connell for Horn here. And did Zachary get a hand on it? Might have. Turned over by the Wolfpack. Here's Harris, who's been very quiet early. He'll skip for Madsen, 3 ball. It'll spin around. Diarra the rebound.
The other end there, that was a huge 3 by Zachary to kind of just cut in the lead. They have been struggling to score, Boston College, and that one just rolled in and out. Got a great look for Madsen.
Taylor traveled. Drug the pivot foot. Nice piece of officiating by Justin Porterfield. A Wolfpack turnover will give it to BC. Josh, how important the last 5.5, and does Earl Grant bring Quentin Post back?
Well, look, you don't want to get the lead so stretched out where you don't stay within striking distance, so you got to be careful about that. And offensively, they're so much better with Post on the floor because they like to play the 5 out, initiate things through him. He can score at the rim. He can pick and pop. He's just such a hard matchup for the opposing team. So it really determines in these next 30 seconds to a minute, do they stay within striking distance? But that doesn't help whatsoever. Continuing to turn the ball over and gifting North Carolina State literally just possession after possession.
Burns is going to get back in the ball game to replace Middlebrooks here. And here comes DJ Burns, who's had a terrific first half.
So, Wes, you saw the pressure there by NC State, but usually they would have at the top of the key there Quentin Post to reverse it in the playthrough. Without him on the bench,
right,
that just takes such an integral part of their offense out.
Burns squares on McLaughlin. Harris will pull it away. Eagles shooting 33% here in the first half. And the ball got kicked. It'll stay with BC.
As poorly as Boston College has played offensively with turnovers, shooting,
right,
to only be down 11 is, they need to be very grateful for that, because they could easily have just been extended this lead by a 20, 25-point situation based on the amount of extra possessions and how Boston College is not scoring. So that will be interesting to see. Can they stay within striking distance over these next 5 minutes?
Here's Zachary, Aligbe, McLaughlin working on Burns now. Boy, Zachary turns and left it short. Good defense by Taylor. He's got Horn with him. Jaden Taylor, and fouled on the play. Foul is going to be on Madsen, I believe. It'll be the first on the senior from Rochester, Minnesota, number 6 on the Eagles.
So it was an air ball, so it left it short, so it allowed NC State to fly in transition offense, which they're as good as anybody in this league in getting out in transition. And Boston College, who is a good defensive team, who Coach Grant, they practice transition defense. They're big about that, building a wall. But when you either have a turnover or a tough shot, and it has an air ball like that, you don't allow your defense to get set, and then you're on a 2-on-1 situation there, and Taylor gets to the free throw line.
6 in the first half now for Jaden Taylor. NC State, by the way, 5 for 5 at the line. And 6 for 6 as Taylor knocks the free throw down to give him 7. Wolfpack, 4th best free throw shooting team in ACC play at 77%.
And after every made free throw, if you watch, North Carolina State is able to set up their press, cause pressure on the BC, and with Post not in to be able to relieve some pressure at the high post, that's where their offense can get a little stagnant and maybe a little out of sync.
Kelly, 10 to shoot. In the corner, McLaughlin, a long 3. Offensive rebound, he'll feed Aligbe for the hammer. Second field goal from Prince Aligbe.
It was the miss, but NC State started leaking out, trying to run in transition without securing the ball first. That drives the coach up the wall.
Taylor for 3. And the backside rebound for Parker. And we're going to get a foul called underneath here. And that will send it toward the Eagles, but we'll get a timeout. It's an 11-point lead. State's gone 3 minutes without a field goal, but still managing a double-figure advantage in Raleigh. Well, the Atlantic Coast Conference's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 17th through the 25th as ACC Unity Week. And every institution involved in helping each other and programs and processes, including a terrific event every summer that takes membership, institutional membership from across the ACC footprint to Washington, D.C. We're back in Raleigh. NC State has an 11-point lead on Boston College with Josh Pastner, West Durham. First of two for you on ACC Network here this afternoon. Georgia Tech, Miami follow. Here is a league bay on a nice throw on the inbounds pass, Josh, to set up the bucket.
Well, out of the timeout, NC State pressed, went full court man-to-man, and had nobody back. Burns was back, but he was kind of up by half court. Great throw behind. Great pass by Burns as well, too, there on the backcourt cut.
Dennis Parker, the bucket.
But really good press break by Earl Grant the time before, out of the timeout. For that press break, we're able to get the basket.
McLaughlin plays with a league bay, Harris, Matson, and Kelly. And there goes Prince of league bay and one. I tell you what, he has come off the bench, Josh. He's got 9 to lead the Eagles and a chance for double figures off the foul.
Prince has been really good and is a backdoor passer, but watch Burns. Look at Burns' hands. They're all down by his side. There is no ball pressure, so he's caught in no man's land. He's not ball pressuring. He's back off, hands are down, and they allow to drop the backdoor pass. And I tell you what else, and they've been okay without post in the game right now, but it's allowed Burns to guard McLaughlin on the perimeter where Coach Keys didn't want Burns to be guarding post on the perimeter, so but it's actually worked in right now the favor where Boston College has a run going offensively.
Sophomore from Minneapolis, a league bay, now has 10 off of Earl Grant's bench. Lead down to 8. It's been as big as 14. O'Connell through traffic, lost it, and a whistle and foul. It's going to be on Chaz Kelly. It'll be his first. That is 7 now on BC. So 1 and 1, or 2 shots actually here for the Stanford transfer with 2:59 to go first half.
And if you see here on O'Connell, there was no passes. There was a lot of pressure by BC. They couldn't run their action. So O'Connell just said, okay, I'm just going to take it myself. It's not what Coach Keats wanted. It's not O'Connell's game like that, but he did get to the free throw line.
Don't forget a triple header of women's basketball tomorrow. BC and Notre Dame get a start at noon. Then at 2 o'clock, presented by Food Line. How about Carolina, Virginia Tech? That's where game day will be tomorrow as well. The Castle in Blacksburg. And then State and Duke finish it up from Cameron at 5:30. It's all here on ACC Network and always available on the ESPN app. First 2 points for Michael O'Connell. And the lead back to 10 for the Pack.
Very important, Boston College stays within striking distance before they get to half, and right now they are. They've got to try to get it within single digits, the big thing going into halftime.
Kelly a spot up 2. First bucket for the sophomore from Houston, Chaz Kelly.
Impressive what Boston College has done without post in the lineup offensively right now. Just on the fact alone of them being able to stay within striking distance, the amount of turnovers, the lack of shooting. As you mentioned, Prince has been the key to it, and they've had some other good shots. And NC State hasn't taken full advantage of the opportunities.
Horn a long 2.
Well, he's been on fire, Wes.
That is 9 in the first half for DJ Horn, who has not been as active offensively as I thought he might be.
Well, but he's hitting. Those aren't easy shots right there. I mean, those aren't your feet set. They're coming off of dribble handoffs. People call it zoom action, which is dribble handoff type of action, and he's sticking them.
Madsen, meanwhile, continues to shoot it well. He's got 7, his first 3 of the day.
Madsen can flat out shoot it again. These last 4 games with Madsen being in the starting lineup, he's been outstanding.
Taylor, a 3 banged around. Madsen going to commit the foul. And 3 free throws coming for Jaden Taylor off Mason Madsen's first foul. Here with 94 seconds to play in the first half.
I'm curious to watch this replay here on this foul. Madsen was helping inside that pick and roll. Yep, that's a good call by the official. He fouled him. It's the right call. And what happened there, if you saw Madsen, he was playing inside because on the roll by Middlebrooks and Diarra, when they were rolling to the rim, especially there with Middlebrooks, that forced Madsen to come over, and he got so detached from Taylor in the corner, and the closeout, he was just, his balance, his rhythm, his gravity forced him to run into Taylor.
Jaden Taylor, Josh, has got 7 of 7 line shooting and a three-pointer for 10 points.
He's been Horn in this game that what Horn's been the last few games. And now with those two guys playing together like this, North Carolina State, if they continue to play at the level they need more so to play better as well, too. If they get Burns going, they could be a difficult out in the tournament.
There's Harris, and that was last touched by the Pack. It'll stay with the Eagles with 1:15 to go. Kevin Keats now in year 7, and look out, we got a reset around Madsen. Kevin no longer defending like he did in his playing days at Ferrum.
I don't know. I don't think he defended back there either. He's a better coach than he is as a player. Trust me.
Oh, you know that feeling, don't you?
I know it really well. And Kevin's done a great job here at NC State. He's an outstanding coach. He's won a lot of games, has had great players. But this a last minute 7, Wes.
Yeah.
This is critical for Boston College. They just cut it to 7. Taylor hit the 3 free throws off the foul in the corner 3. They've got to get it into single digits going to half.
Harris, quiet first half, continues. He is scoreless. He's the 18th best scorer in the ACC. And Claudel Harris Jr. has nothing so far today. Horn working on McLaughlin. Stop, fall away, short. By the way, that's 11 for DJ Horn in this first half. And a foul will be called, I believe, on Horn.
Well,
on the reach, it's his first.
Great shot by Horn, and you can see here the shot, and he makes a really tough 2. But the issue is, after he scores, he starts celebrating, and Boston College is coming down in transition, and he puts 2 hands on him, and there's the foul. But that was a heck of a shot.
Under 40 to go, about a 17-second differential. Madsen. Kelly standing 3. Nope. Diarra will give NC State the last chance.
They're going to use a timeout here and call something draw up for an out of timeout.
Yeah, so we'll get a timeout taken by Kevin Keats. 12-point lead for the Wolfpack. NC State has built this lead despite 7 turnovers in the first half. 23 seconds away from the end of this first half. NC State by a dozen. Don't forget, nothing but net at the break. And you'll be brought back here to PNC Arena to see the on-floor ceremony of the 1974 National Championship team.
Kelsey Riggs just like holds the entire ACC network in line there. She's amazing at what she does.
Hardest working
She's
woman.
Incredible. And then
on
Luke
the planet.
Hancock, I know, is going to Rick Pitino's game tomorrow. I think because Coach
St. John's playing UConn?
I don't know what's going on, but I think because he had some words the other day about his team.
Wow.
He said, bring Luke Hancock over here and let me tell you what I called Luke Hancock back in the day.
Wow.
Luke Hancock was a great player too now. Great shooter. And but we can't forget Joel Berry.
Joel Berry, national champion.
He was outstanding.
Yeah.
But
Joel Berry, MVP of the tournament in Washington last time it was there. Won the Case Award.
No one's as good as Kelsey Riggs.
That's it. They trail Kelsey. Horn at the horn. Spins out on a 3. Rebound from Mighty, and that'll get the teams to the locker room. Well, NC State's got 3 in double figures, including DJ Horn. He's got 11. Jaden Taylor and DJ Burns with 10 each. Prince Aligbe's got 10 off Earl Grant's bench. And the Wolfpack has got a 12-point lead at 38-26. When we come back, nothing but net with Kelsey Riggs, Joel Berry, Luke Hancock, and also the 74 championship celebration here in Raleigh, and it's next.
Welcome into this ACC Network halftime report. As they said, Joel, Kelsey, Luke with you, and Josh Passner, we have the $100 we owe you. Keep saying nice things, we'll pay you more. Meanwhile, as promised on the other side of this break, we'll send you back out to PNC Arena as they get ready to honor the legendary 1974 National Championship team. We'll take you there after this. Welcome back to this halftime report. Syracuse hung on to get a close win over Notre Dame, but the big story after the game, our coach, the legendary Jim Boeheim, honored. Joel, there's a Jim Boeheim Day now in Syracuse.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I go to Syracuse, I know who to call. I'm calling Coach Boeheim.
His name going up in the rafters. Meanwhile, at PNC Arena, they are celebrating the 1974 National Championship winning team. Luke, it was such a legendary run for this group.
Yeah, just changed basketball with that team, having the tournament expanded based off of that year. Two of my favorites in Tommy Burleson and David Skywalker Thompson.
Let's take you out to PNC Arena right now for part of that ceremony. Take a listen.
And now your 74 National Championship team. Freshman center Mike Burma. Sophomore guard Howard Pickett. Sophomore forward Jerry Hunt. Freshman forward Ken Jering. Sophomore forward Steve Smith. Junior guard Craig Kuzmal. Senior forward Greg Hawkins. Junior guard Mark Moeller. Junior forward Tim Stoddard. Junior forward Phil Spence. Junior point guard Monty Tao. Senior center Tommy Burleson. And junior forward David Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only 1974 Wolfpack National Championship team.
That special moment at halftime of this game between NC State and Boston College. DJ Horn, he's got 5 straight 25-point games. He's got 11 so far in the first half. Wolfpack with a 12-point lead. All right, still to come, second half of Boston College, NC State. Mason Matson knocking them down in the first half. They've got some work to do to catch up, though. It's the Wolfpack by 12.
Well, we get ready to go the second half in Raleigh. ACC basketball this afternoon presented by Food Line as they celebrate the 1974 national champions, the current Wolfpack. Pretty good opening 20 minutes. And Josh, DJ Burns got off to a great start.
A great start. And you can see them right from the beginning trying to set the tone with getting the ball to him at the post. But he doesn't always catch it at the post. It's in the long post, and then he backs you down. And because of his great passing there, all over the floor, he's a unique player. He's a hard guy to match up with, and it's part of the reason why NC State has the lead that they have. Now, Horn and Taylor have played well, and Horn as of late in this game. But to start the initial part of it on that surge was due to Burns.
By the way, the turnover is also a side note for Earl Grant. Maybe a bigger note than a side note. Also, Claudell Harris, who's a terrific scorer, consistent scorer in conference play, scoreless in these opening 20 minutes.
Boston College has not been in rhythm or sync. I've even felt from the start of the game, I even mentioned at the very beginning where I just felt Post was not in. He had some plays where it didn't look like he had that energy there, and you're talking like you just mentioned, Wes. Harris has not scored the turnovers. They've never gotten into rhythm at any point of this game to this point.
Eagles will have the ball. How important the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half here?
It's everything. I mean, with the 12-point deficit, they've got to maintain within striking distance. I keep saying that. They got to try to get it down to single digits and chip away.
Harris a 3, and a foul will be ticketed to Diarra. On the offensive rebound by Quentin Post.
Because of the crowd, they got a good crowd here. Obviously, the celebration, the 74 team. If you start setting momentum going and North Carolina State starts getting out in transition and getting some easy baskets, the league could really expand in a hurry.
It was O'Connell, not Diarra, the foul. First on Michael O'Connell. Obviously first on State here to start the half. Madsen will try and draw the Eagles. Cannot. Rebounds away out of the corner. Pack in transition with Burns. Here's Horn. And whistling foul off the ball. And I think Madsen got caught up trying to defend Burns in a mismatch.
So it was a ball screen, and Post and Madsen switched. Madsen ended up on Burns, and you see on the base out of bounds for the right to Burns. But you see here on the switch, and Madsen's trying to front, but Burns is just too big for him down there. And then Burns had a quick miss there on the out of bounds, base out of bounds, and transition here for BC.
Zachary the catch and score. A little early life out of the Eagles. 7 for Jaden Zachary.
Look, there is no 12-point shot, so the only way to get back into the game is you got to get stops, and then you got to run in transition and get good looks, and that's a good start for Boston College.
O'Connell just inside the head of the circle. Rebounded by Post. And there's Madsen. Kind of on the move, he cut it loose.
He's had 2 good looks this half and 3.
That was Morcell's three-pointer look. Good. First points for Casey Morcell. His 28th three of the year, Josh.
Wes, for NC State to be the team that Coach Keats and all the fans want NC State to be, they need Morcell to be at a high level. And with them losing the 2 guards with Smith and Joyner last year, they need him to step up at a high level every single time they play.
Offensive foul on Zachary. Another look at Casey Morcell. It's a veteran player now. Started his career at Virginia.
And a great transition offense in rhythm. He was working on those shots early when we were here, really early. He was out there, and he was making them over and over and over. Hopefully that gets his confidence going so he can get hot for the rest of his game.
Here's Horn. What kind of... I thought he was going to make it. And now Diarra with 13 to shoot. Here's Horn. It's Donald Hand defending. Horn will take him to the basket. Into traffic with a right hand, scores. 13 now for Horn. You challenge him, he'll challenge you back, Josh.
Wes, and you know what? The shots he's making, if you've noticed, it's the drives and it's the reverse pivots. He's using his pivot foot. He's using that pivot foot a lot to get those shots. And they're not easy shots, but they're scoring.
Walk us through this here, because it's a good point about his scoring creativity.
You can see what he's doing. He's getting to the rim, to the lane area, but he's stopping, and he's using the pivot to try to get the defense off balance. Those aren't easy shots, but the ability to use the pivot foot to get himself some distance against that defender to score.
I think we just saw the 3rd foul on Quentin Post. And that'll be number 3 now in this second half on Boston College. That is not good either for Earl Grant's team. Quentin Post, by the way, grad student from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And Josh, as I understand it, he cost you a family vacation one time?
He sure did. I was at Georgia, and one of the reasons why I'm sitting here next to you and not coaching in the league is because I'm sitting in Florida with my family. Quentin Post is taking an official visit. He wants to come to Georgia Tech. I'm like, let's do it. I have to leave my family vacation to go be on the official visit with Quentin Post, but he doesn't say he's coming to Georgia Tech. So not only do I miss my vacation with my family, he doesn't come to Georgia Tech, and because we don't get him, I'm sitting next to you, Wes. Now, I love sitting next to you.
It's a loss on a lot of fronts, Josh.
I'd rather be coaching with him as my center.
Here's McLaughlin off the miss. He couldn't finish. The family vacation, however, might be your wife's issue. Here's Diarra. Cleaned up O'Connell. All going the Wolfpack way here in the second half. NC State starting to pour it on. They've outscored BC 9-2 to push it to a 19-point lead, and a foul, I believe, on Diarra here, and it is.
If I could have gone, if I knew that NIL was going to eventually happen, I wouldn't have to leave the family vacation. I would have said, Quentin, here's a couple $100,000, and why don't you just say yes to Georgia Tech? Forget the official visit. But we're in a different time and age, as you know, Wes, with college sports.
I just like the story about he cost you a vacation.
Yeah, Yeah, he sure did. And I wanted to go up to him today before the game and said, hey, can I send you a bill on that?
Yeah. How about the back end of the condo rental? I lost the condo rental for 3 days.
My wife and our kids were not happy with me, but he's a really good player. He obviously started out at Mississippi State. He ended up transferring and going to Boston College. They've done a really good job with him. He's a really good player. But I'll tell you right now, Wes, this is a danger zone for Boston College. Like, if they don't get some stops here and start getting on a run offensively, it's going to be a long afternoon for them.
Lead was 12 at the half, and there's a 3-ball by Horn. Harris gathers for the Eagles. There's Claudell Harris still looking for his first basket and has it now.
And if you notice in transition, Burns got spread out trying to guard post. Diarra was out too far out, and he just had a wide open lane, unobstructed to get right to the rim with no contest there by NC State. Boston College has to try to get more in offensive transition for them to try to crack away at this lead.
Burns backing down on post, reverses back to the left hand, and McLaughlin the rebound on the miss there.
They need to be going in transition. You can see Burns is tired. They need to really attack, put pressure on the paint right now, especially you can see Burns is winded.
Yep, and Middlebrooks waiting to spell him at the table. Here's Post. Fall away with the right hand. Missed everything. McLaughlin trying to clean it up. He couldn't. So Burns is going to stay on the floor. Here's State in transition with Morcell. Trying to hit the fall away and does. 5 for Morcell all here in the second half.
Quentin Post, the last time down, Burns was exhausted and he settled for a fadeaway jump shot when he should have just gone attack to the paint, try to either get Burns a foul or score the basket. But he settled and allowed Burns off the hook.
Harris on the lob for Post. Diarra blocked it out of bounds. Post goes down. I hope he didn't twist an ankle. We get a timeout, and BC will have the ball, but trailing 17. Almost 5 minutes into the second half here in Raleigh. Josh, we spent a lot of time watching Quentin Post, who had a little bit of an ankle twist here, trying to score against DR, going to timeout. See the right foot there.
You can see his right foot twisted on that spin on the baseline. Thankfully, he's back in the game, but those things can swell up in the evening or even tomorrow, so they got to make sure he has constant treatment. But the good news is he's playing right now back in.
Harris forced it up against Middlebrooks and is going to get the foul on Ben, and that'll be Middlebrooks' second. It's the third on the Wolfpack here in the second half. Post has got to be the guy. If BC wants to make a move, he's got to be at the forefront,
well,
right?
You're looking right now with Post right now, Wes. He's 1 for 6. He's got 8 rebounds, but he hasn't done anything offensively, and they need him to score. And I don't think he's taking great shots either. I thought he's rushing things, and he's got to be better in these next few minutes for BC to hang around.
Don't forget, 8 o'clock tonight, following another women's lacrosse match, Virginia Tech and Louisville. We'll have nothing but net. Full breakdown of the day in the ACC. As you see, Claudell Harris hit them both. Kelsey Riggs, of course, anchors our coverage. 3 all in the half, 4 now for Harris.
Wes, going back to Quentin Post and that ankle, I can see both his ankles are taped. And I know there's a lot of discussion, does taping work or not work, but maybe that saved his ankle right there, the taping. Good job by the trainer on the taping job to not have anything more than maybe a light sprain.
Morcell. He's got 7 all in the second half now.
We talked about it, Wes, before the game. He was out here early shooting, making every shot, and I really think for North Carolina State to be a tough out when you get to the ACC tournament, Morcell's got to be a guy that's another scorer along with Horn.
McLaughlin, a strong move, and a foul called, and it's on Horn. Second on the grad transfer from Raleigh. 4 now on the pack here in the half.
There was a side ball screen there, and what happened was Boston College had action on the other side. So North Carolina State kind of got ball watching, hugged up, we call it. They got hugged up to their man on the weak side, on the back side, and that allowed for McLaughlin to have a straight line roll to the rim, and that's where the foul came.
Devin McLaughlin has had 2 double-doubles this year in ACC play. Comes in averaging 13 and 7 against the conference. He is scoreless so far. There's his first point. And a little pressure offered by Earl Grant's club here.
You know, if you remember last year, Wes, with Smith and Joyner, those two guards for NC State, how good they were. That's what they need Horn and Morcell to be this year for them, and especially as they get to the ACC tournament.
Here is Taylor. Back for Diarra, and a foul on McLaughlin will be his second.
And I go back to last year because those guards, they're a tournament team. Those guards were so good. And the way NC State plays, they need those guards because that really opens up things for Burns as well, too. So that's where Morcell's got to be a guy that's got to be consistently at a high level. And as long as Horn can stay at that level, you know this, Wes, you've seen basketball longer than I've been alive. And I say that because you look great. I mean that. You don't look a day over 30.
All right, go ahead.
But you know this. You've got to have great guard play to win. And to win in the ACC tournament, it's going to come down to how do the guards shoot the ball.
Diarra got one of the two. He's got 4. Don't believe the Pastner hype, I'm just saying.
You do look good.
All right. 17-point game. Here's Post. The matchup has really not materialized at all. Early foul trouble on Post. Hand for 3. He'll ring the bell. 21st 3. First points of the year. Or first points of the day for Donald Hand Jr.
That's been an issue with NC State this year in being able to hold on to leads. They've lost a lot of close games. They've won close games. But right now, you've got to just bury BC if you're NC State. The more you let them hang around, the more they can kind of creep back, and all of a sudden, the momentum shifts.
Taylor lost it on the dribble with 5 to shoot. Here's Middlebrooks. He juggled it. Now it's finally stolen. Here's Claudell Harris. A path to the basket, and Middlebrooks was going to give no free.
And he
foul will be on Ben Middlebrooks.
And Harris really hurt his right hand on the net. He got it stuck on the net there. He slowed up Harris.
Crowd in Raleigh. The foul's not for the block. The foul is on hitting Harris in the head after he blocked it.
And then you can see Harris got his right hand stuck in the net. We'll see if it affects his free throw shooting right here.
3 for 3 is Harris.
But if you notice there, he slowed up.
Right.
On the he should have just gone full speed and tried to get an easy basket, maybe even got an and one. But again, going back, North Carolina State is allowing Boston College to kind of just creep their way back in and hang around, and eventually the energy and momentum can shift towards back to BC, and then all of a sudden it's a different ballgame. That's been an issue with NC State this year on being able just to close things out.
Taylor works his way in traffic. Here's Middlebrooks. Post stepped in nicely. And now we're going to get a foul on Post against Middlebrooks for the push, I believe. Yep. And that is 4 on Quentin Post. And with 12:49 to go, Earl Grant's got an issue here now.
Yeah, he's taking him out.
Devin McLaughlin for Quentin Post in the BC order.
Post just has not gotten into any sync, flow, rhythm. Just, he's been out of sorts all game long in this game. Both ends of the floor.
Trailing by a dozen. When Post left the floor, Diarra another 3. Wow. Mohamed Diarra's 2 field goals today are triples.
Wes, he's got a great looking shot. And again, talk about an added weapon and a bonus if he starts making those threes on a consistent basis. Talk about the floor spacing and what can open up for NC State.
6'10 junior from France. Adding to it, and there's a League Bay who was BC's leading scorer in the first half, off the bench again, and been pretty productive. He's got a dozen.
The League Bay saved them to this point of not letting it get so out of hand for the scorer based on his scoring.
Morcell working against Hand. Long 2 at the front. Spins out for Casey Morcell. And that ball got knocked away. Zachary tried to keep it alive. Here is Taylor loose. A dozen for Jaden Taylor. Harris, 8.5 gone in the second half. Zachary. Bounce pass to McLaughlin and fell off the front rim. Taylor, a standing three.
That's where NC State's at their best. Coach Grant is going to call timeout, get it across half court, try to stop the momentum. And you can just see here the momentum has totally shifted to all the way to NC State. Look at this dunk here on the 50-50 loose ball to Taylor with the dunk. And then in transition, nothing, not even anyone near him by BC, nothing but the bottom of the net. Taylor has been outstanding.
NC State Boston College is part of ACC Unity Week, the ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 17th through the 25th as ACC Unity Week. And with Josh Pastner, West Durham, the PNC Arena in Raleigh. Middlebrooks deflected the pass away. Big bend to the basket, and he got taken out by McLaughlin. And that will be a flagrant foul on McLaughlin. And Middlebrooks will get 2 shots in the ball, I believe, when we come back. Well, we're going to get a break in the action here first in Raleigh. Teams will go to their benches. Wolfpack by 18. We're back in a moment. Well, the review by this officiating crew took what was originally a flagrant 1. It's been upgraded to a flagrant 2, so Devin McLaughlin is ejected from the game. Severity of the contact here, and their estimation, didn't make a play on the ball. And, of course, Middlebrooks had left the floor. He was already in the motion to go dunk the ball. And in that sense, it's an upgradable situation. Earl Grant doesn't agree. Devin McLaughlin doesn't. But nonetheless, that's the way it stands. So McLaughlin's day ends with 10:54 to play.
And I want to give a shout out to the North Carolina State coaching on the bench. One of the new rule changes is anyone that's not a player is allowed to leave the floor to make sure there's no issues. And when that happened, all those guys made sure everyone stayed on the bench. There was no issues because we did not want a fight or anything. So credit to them to making sure their players held back. There was no issues. Everyone got separated, and we can continue to play basketball, and nobody was hurt.
20-point game now for NC State. It's their largest lead of the day.
Now watch Horn here on this out of bounds right here coming off that staggered screen.
State on a 7-0 run here to push it to 20. Mighty defending Middlebrooks. Here's Horn now. Mighty trying to help. DJ over the big fella. Left it on the rim. Middlebrooks the rebound. Right back for Horn. Soft jumper. Nope. Bounds away, and the rebound from Madsen. This 20-plus may not come as easily as some others have for DJ Horn today. That ball got knocked away last touch by the Pack.
But credit to NC State, they haven't had that. They haven't needed him to be the hero today.
Right.
They've had guys like Taylor. Morsell's played the probably his best that he's had in a long time. Burns has been really good. Diarra making threes. So credit to the other guys at NC State stepping up and helping Horn in this situation.
Kelly putting it in play. Here's Madsen. Off a rescreen of a Mighty, and a three that's good, and a foul on Horn. So Madsen's going to get a chance at the 4-point trip. How about that?
Well, what happened there, if you watch it, watch Burns defensively. He's off, and then Horn goes underneath the handoff, and then he tries to go over on the second one. He's too late, and again, because of that, his body takes him into the offensive player. But it started with the lack of presence by Burns on that handoff action. He was just kind of standing there as a statue.
So here now, Madsen knocks down the 4-point play, and it's back to 16.
Just when you think it's about to just pull away and be overtime, when I say overtime, like game over, like It's over, they got a little life.
Morsell, back rim miss of the three. Under 10 we go.
Watch the UCLA cut here. That's a screen off the elbow coming off of the staggered screen. And they're trying to find Matson on for a three on the misdirection. Good defense there by NC State.
Kelly out in the midcourt area against Horn. And a reach-in foul on DJ Horn. That's 4 on Horn with 9:31 to go. Maybe a little bit of a press there by Horn. That's 7 now on the Wolfpack.
You know, you see right here, Wes, I mean, Horn's in there, but you can see his hands. Both hands get on the ball on his body, and I just think that's on automatic that the officials are going to call. I mean, Horn was pressuring, he was moving his feet, but once you get your palms, 2 palms touching the offensive player, 90% of the time, they're going to call a defensive foul. Unless, of course, I was coaching, they don't call that, and that's why back in the day with you and Mark Packer, the index card, I was always, we were the very lowest on the totem pole there.
Well, Pack will appreciate the fact you got the index card.
Absolutely.
In the broadcast.
Darn right, the index card. That said a lot. That told the story on the fouls.
In terms of your saga?
Yes.
Yeah. 9 minutes and change to go. Burns with Armani Mighty defending. Ball away. Nope. On the rim. Matson the rebound.
Tough shot for Burns going over his other shoulder. He's most comfortable going over his right shoulder. He went over his left one that time. Didn't have a good angle.
Oligbe's got double figures today. He and Matson, the double figure scores for Boston College. Kelly left the 3 short. Jaden Taylor automatically to Burns with Mighty defending. Look at DJ square around. Diarra tries to keep it alive. Does. Mo right back at him, draws the foul, and that's going to be on Armani Mighty.
Well, a couple things there. Number one, the defensively on the other side of the ball, they got lucky. Kelly got a great look. Burns, again, in that dribble handoff action, he was so far off, just kind of hanging around, you know, just upright like a statue.
Right.
And then defensively, they went under. He was trying to give him some room to go under, but Kelly got a good look. And then on this side of the floor, Burns came back to over his right shoulder, missed. However, Diarra was right there for the offensive rebound, first effort, and then a second effort to get the foul called. But again, right now, the momentum is obviously with NC State, but the issue is you're letting BC, look, it's still 16 points. It's a long way to go for Boston College to creep back in the game, and Post is not even in right now. But you just don't want to let it hang around, because a couple threes made by BC can change the flow of this game.
Diarra 2 for 4 at the line. Both misses by the Wolfpack today at the free throw line belong to Muhammad Diarra. NC State elsewise is 17 of 19, continuing a pretty solid characteristic of this basketball team for Kevin Keats. Zachary, a long 3. O'Connell had a shot at the rebound. Tell you what, Michael O'Connell at 6'2", Josh, has got 8 rebounds today.
You know what? He's kind of been quietly, has just done his job, and he's been a tough, hard-nosed rebounder. And the one thing for a team to be successful, I think a number one indicator of that, of your toughness of your team, is guard rebounding. And O'Connell has showed that today. He stuck his nose in there and have come up with tough, hard-nosed rebound. Look, he hasn't done maybe some other things that don't always show up in the box score, but he's had toughness plays that has allowed NC State to have the lead that they got.
Burns taps his own miss home. 14 for DJ Burns.
You can see the explosiveness again, going to his left, over his right shoulder, and then the second effort by Burns to get the putback.
Ball away by Hand. Rebound Taylor, stripped by Hand. And the stick back won't go.
Another rebound for O'Connell there.
Yep. Here's O'Connell. Little soft ball away off a jump stop from Michael O'Connell.
Same type of move that Horn makes. Obviously, that's taught by Coach Keats and staff, using the pivot foot to create space.
3 ball from Zachary at the other end. Or it's a 2. It's a 2. So 9 for Jaden Zachary. Just ahead of 7 minutes to go. Still a 19-point game. Under 7 to play. Foul line, here's Burns. Working on Mighty. Look at the dig down from Hand there defensively, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. Boston College, that's what they do defensively, protect the paint. But he still is able to get to his left hand over his right shoulder where he's most effective and most efficient and really hard to stop.
Well, DJ Burns gets the basket. He'll have a chance for the free throw when we continue from Raleigh. NC State 69, BC 48. You're watching ACC basketball presented by Food Lion. Josh, the Sonic Blockbuster from JPJ today in Charlottesville. Do you know North Carolina's not won in Charlottesville since 2012?
Wow. That's a wow. But I can understand, hard to win there. That's why that Pitt win that they had at Virginia was a heck of a win. Obviously, Tony Bennett defensively, it's really hard to score against them.
Yep.
That's why I've said Virginia needs to be in the discussion about being a blue blood over this last decade or so, because they've actually had to have more success than Duke and Carolina in the ACC over this last 10 years.
Terrific move by Madsen. So Carolina, Virginia, and Duke and Wake. How about the top four playing one another today? Of the 35 games left when we started today in ACC play, there are only 35 games left in the regular season. Here's Burns. There are 4 games, 4, featuring the top 4. That's it.
Wow.
Now, if you want to dig in a little bit to Clemson, Pitt, NC State, there are a handful of other games. But the last, if you were to go to the standings today, there's a pull-up by Madsen. Oh, my goodness. Mason Madsen now, 4 straight for Boston College. And it's an 18-point game with 5:40 to go. If you go to the standings today, Duke, Carolina, Virginia, right? You like them for 3 of the 4 double buys?
I do.
But the next one, Wake, Clemson, Pitt, NC State, Florida State are all within 1 game win-or-loss column.
That's a crazy stat. And I would tell you,
Marcel a dunk.
And Marcel there, we talked about in the first half, that Iverson cut. They ran at the very first play of the game and got the offensive foul NC State had. But that's called an Iverson cut, over 2 people at a person at each elbow, and he was able to get an angle and get a basket.
Donald Hand Jr. has knocked down a pair of threes here in the half. Go ahead on your thought.
To answer your question on that, I think the Virginia-North Carolina game is a huge one today, because I think there's still some holes in North Carolina. Can they make that deep run in the tournament?
Okay.
And I think this, obviously, what's going on right now, the Wake-Duke game's got humongous ramifications for Wake. I just think the ACC tournament, I don't know how you feel, Wes, and more so there with another bucket, but I don't know how you feel. I think it's sort of wide open. Do you? I mean, maybe not for the second half of the league, but for the first half, and it's going to be a great league. And I want to throw in an opportunity in DC. Get your tickets. I think you go to what, ACC.com.
Yeah, the ACC.com. You can find a way to tickets.
Yeah, it's going to be a great tournament.
Meanwhile, Madsen's on a burner.
He's on a burner.
Yeah.
But who do you see is I mean, do you think in that top half anyone can pull out and win it? Like, I wouldn't sleep on Virginia just yet either.
Well, I'm going to give you some information here in a minute on how the seeding can sometimes be misleading as to what happens at the tournament. Here is Parker on the drive. And Burns and a reset of the shot clock for the Wolfpack. Long break over there for Horn, by the way, as Burns scores. DJ Burns now got a season high. And DJ has got 9 here in the second half, got 19 in the ball game, and he ties a 19 he had earlier this year against Pitt. Back in a minute. ACC basketball is presented today by Food Lion, the official grocer of the Atlantic Coast Conference. NC State in control, 76-58. Under 4 to go at PNC Arena. And Marcel, Ross, and Burns pretty excited. And our star stories today are brought to you by Crush. And guys who are crushing it, Jaden Taylor in double figures off the bench, Josh, for a 3rd straight game. And then DJ Burns and DJ Horn helping out too.
Yeah, no, Taylor's been a big addition this afternoon. I mean, he gave them helped him get that lead stretch, because Horn had not really got going early part, and it was the one that got going was Taylor.
Yep. spot up by Hand. And Middlebrooks a rebound for the Wolfpack.
Wes, I would love for you to finish your thought just on the ACC, on my question to you about the ACC tournament.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, especially in the last couple of weeks of the regular season. And it speaks to the long history of the event. NC State, of course, knows what a celebration in our nation's capital looks like. 1987, Vinny Del Negro was the MVP of the tournament at Capitol Center in Landover when the Wolfpack beat Carolina in the finals on a Sunday afternoon. Here's Madsen at the other end. Strong has come in the game, a 6'8 freshman who they really like out of Charlotte. Here's Post back on the floor out of the timeout as well.
Post has not gotten, he's been all out of sorts, all from the tip.
Donald Hand Jr.'s got 9 all in the second half. Josh, it speaks to the way teams get seeded. The top seed has won the title 32 times, okay? That's 46% of all the ACC tournaments ever staged. However, recently, that's not been the case. It's only happened 8 times in this century. Wow. The top seeds won the tournament. Now, leagues expanded, of course, all those things in those 24 years. There's a turnover. But as you look at the top standings, here's the updated top 8 now. Here's the way the ACC looks with the top 8, okay? Carolina, Duke, Virginia, Wake, then you see Clemson, Pitt, NC State, Florida State. It's important to note, last year Duke was a 4 seed. In 2022, Virginia Tech was a 7 seed. I mean, Georgia Tech won the title, Josh.
Yep.
You remember that as
Absolutely.
what?
We were a 4 seed.
That is correct. I mean, it's amazing how the seeds kind of play themselves through the event.
Well, I also wonder, and I want like what you think about this. Sometimes the double bye is not always the advantage because teams have either played 1 or 2 games you're playing, and you can come in a little cold. And if you remember, Wake Forest a few years ago lost in Brooklyn to Boston College,
correct,
which knocked them out of the tournament. They were the 5 seed, but they didn't. So they were in a double bye, but they got a bye. BC played the night before.
Yep.
And they beat Wake Forest and kept Wake Forest out of the tournament. So there's not always a guarantee a single bye or a double bye is an advantage for you always.
I totally agree.
To win the tournament.
Yep.
You want to get the highest seeding you can for the regular season, but yes, it doesn't guarantee a championship.
Rarely do you see Tuesday carried to Thursday, however. Wednesday carries to Thursday, but Virginia Tech was a 7 seed in 2022. They beat the 2 seed Notre Dame in the quarters on the way to the title. Now remember, they beat Clemson, they beat Notre Dame, they beat Carolina, they beat Duke. That's an unbelievable run from Mike Young. But that also speaks to how the tournament can be that way.
Absolutely. And part of that, as you mentioned, is they got to play a game and kind of had rhythm before each some of the teams had played, and that allowed them to get into some rhythm and sync. And look, right now, that was going back and forth. Both teams, especially for NC State, I think they're taking their foot off the gas a little bit. Boston College is trying to press to keep them.
In a final minute, we got a 13-point game here.
But
BC's been on a bit of a run. They've hit 3 of their last 3 from the floor, and NC State's gone without a field goal the last 2.5.
Wes, NC State's not going to be an easy out in the ACC tournament. I mean, look, they're not going to be an at-large bid. They're going to have to win the automatic qualifier.
Right.
But if they can get Taylor to play at a high level like he did tonight, if they can have this afternoon, if they can have Morcell play at a high level, and then you got Horn obviously playing as good as anybody in the league, and then Burns. I mean, they can be a sneaky team in the tournament.
State's got some games in front of them, Josh. Kevin Keatch's team will be 9-7 in the league after today. They've got at Florida State on Tuesday night, only meeting of the regular season. In Chapel Hill next Saturday, that's a quad 1. Duke in this building, a quad 1. And at Pitt, a quad 1.
I shouldn't say they can't get in that. If they win these next 4, they might be in that large.
Well, I mean, they'll put themselves in play. But to your point about NC State, they have an inside-outside combination that can win a tournament.
And Morcell is 23, Burns is 23, Horn's older. I mean, it's not like they're a young team. They've been older guys, and if their guards can play at that level, they could be a hard out.
By the way, Georgia Tech, Miami standing by on East Stroud, Malcolm Huckabee at Coral Gables. We'll send you directly to the Watsco Center For the Canes and Jackets, Miami's lost 5 straight and 6 of 7.
They got drilled the other night versus Duke by a lot. I'll see if they can. It will be interesting if they can bounce back this afternoon. And Georgia Tech has been a tough out. They've had some really good wins.
Yeah.
Damon Stoudemire has done a really nice job in year 1 there as well, too. But I know Malcolm Huckabee's loving South Beach right now. He lives up in the Northeast, so the weather.
Anisroff and Malcolm Huckabee, if they wanted to win today, they needed to make sure they got a Mark Light shake from the baseball stadium before they started the show today. That's all I'm going to tell you. Because this time of year when Canes baseball's going on and Miami plays a home basketball game, you owe it to yourself to go get a Mark Light shake before you come to the basketball game. Like a 4 o'clock start's perfect. You can get a milkshake and you come back and get ready for the basketball game.
Only you would know that.
You should learn. If you're going to sit over here, you need to learn the value of a Mark Light shake.
I started asking, where do we get the food here? I thought we got to be in the media, you get a good spread of food. Where's the food?
No.
I'm hungry.
No. Breon Pass from Reidsville, North Carolina, knocks the free throw down. Quentin Post fouls out on a frustrating day. And Boston College will head home for a couple of games. The Eagles get Virginia on Wednesday night and Pitt next Saturday as Madsen drops another one. He's going to finish with 21. Pretty strong performance here in the last 10 days for Mason Madsen. Terrific win for NC State, celebrating the 74 national championship team. Josh, great to be with you.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be along your side.
Thanks to our great crew here today in Raleigh. Sydney Sneed handled our stats. Josh Monk was our director. Lucas Raycraft, our producer. Wes Durham from Raleigh. 11-point win for the Wolfpack. Here is Kelsey Riggs.
Speaking of Skywalkers, NC State honored the 50th anniversary of its 1974 national title team at halftime of Saturday's game. Now, that 1974 team went 30-1, and they were led by legend David Thompson. They ended UCLA's streak of 7 straight national titles in the national semifinals. Let's look back at that Final Four through the eyes of Thompson and Bill Walton.
Number 44 from Shelby, North Carolina.
We were really dominating that year, going after the big guys, going after UCLA, We wanted to get a shot at them.
We didn't really know much about David Thompson at the time. We sure found out on March 23rd, 1974. Not that I remember the date.
The top 2 teams in the country, North Carolina State and UCLA.
It was a great game, back and forth. It was spectacular. It was the most dramatic game I've ever been a part of.
David Thompson was the greatest college basketball player I ever played against, by far. I just keep seeing visions of David Thompson flying by us and taking what we thought was going to be ours.
The Wolfpack of North Carolina State has defeated UCLA, and the Wolfpack goes into the championship game against the Marquette Warriors.
You have a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids together setting the goal before the year to accomplish something that grand and to get it done. It's something you'll never forget.
They have done it. The Wolfpack has won the national championship.
You could easily argue that David Thompson is the greatest basketball player in the history of the ACC. That's how great he was. Did his feet ever even touch the ground while he was running? He was just so smooth and so graceful. It was like the wonders of nature and life just personified in the greatness of this one human being.
It's been a long time since I played in the ACC, and all these great players come through the years, and for them to think that, say, I was the greatest, is really unbelievable for me, and it's something I'm very proud of.
Moment in this game between Boston College and NC State as they got to celebrate that 1974 national championship team that was honored at the half. DJ Burns trying to make sure he performs in front of the crowd, but DJ Horn performing again, Joel.
Yeah, DJ Horn has been on the burner too. He has been getting busy over his last couple of games, shooting over 25 points per game.
Meanwhile, Wolfpack up by 12 going into the half. Boston College trying to do what they can. Hustling towards the hoop, but turned over, and the slam on the other end. That's from Jaden Taylor. He'd end it with 13 points off the bench. Burns Jr. doing what he can. NC State wins their third straight against Boston College, 81-70 the final. This team not in consideration right now, but they've been doing some good things. Why should be getting some love on the outside of the bubble right now?
Yeah, trying to get in position to be in position, start getting in consideration there. Last week had a great win on the road against Clemson, their worst loss, Syracuse at home. I'm not saying they're a done deal or anything, but with 4 opportunities left, they got big games coming. So if NC State can find a way to get it done, especially, like I said, playing so well against Clemson last week on the road.
Hard to believe that just 2 weeks of the regular season left. Going to be exciting finish as we get ready for the ACC tournament in D.C.